snacky snack. We're trying to get outside for our little bike ride, but I thought maybe I would hit you with these cute products that I got hold of when I was at my fitting up in Chatsworth, which, as we know, I just can't stop talking about it and being fascinated by the fact that Chatsworth is one of the capitals of adult content production in the country. But hopefully Mr. Camera is focusing, and I got hold of this Cat in the Hat palette from I Heart Revolution. It's a shadow palette, and it's got a shade range that seems to be working with purples, pinks, grays, maybe a little shimmery green. Adorable. I also got another item, which is this eye crayon set. Now, we're going to see what the texture of these eye crayons are. If they're a pencil, we won't be able to use it after powder shadow. But if it's more of like a gel, then maybe we'll be able to lay that over shadow. But we'll see. I got this adorable Fox in Socks shimmering pink gloss. This was the one that appealed to me. There was one that was more of a plum and one that looked a little more orange. And just from watching some other, makeup enthusiasts here on YouTube talking about the palette, it doesn't necessarily seem like the colors are best for everyone, right? So we try to use our eye. I got the green eggs and ham one as well, which is a very kind of olivey based palette, and it's not necessarily a bad palette, right? There was a kind of sense that, oh, because of what the title is, it might be kind of cute and not good makeup, but I'm actually really excited for how this will look on my skin tone. And I'm also really excited to get into these pinks and purples. As you know, I have to be kind of in the 1970s and 80s for work of late. I'm just trying to make sure that this camera is focusing on me and all the texture on my face. But, if this palette works, then I'll be able to, do a yeoman's job of, looking period appropriate, at least color wise. I mean, one thing that's confusing once we get into modern palettes is, are we able to kind of use all of the shimmer that, oh, I see, I got some other concealers, and, I just kind of haven't integrated them into where they need to be yet. So I'm kind of surprising myself. I'm a little sleepy. I've been trying to pound through content for you, the people, and it's been challenging, but I feel like I'm growing from this process. And again, I'm really, really thrilled to have just even the smallest amount of time to work on my content, because like when you're at your job, you're just always thinking that you want to do this, but it's a whole other ball of wax to kind of like think about. Is that going to help the focus? It seems to be focusing out the window behind me. Is that too zoomed in? Am I finally in focus? I feel like this layer here is where the camera wants to focus. Anyway, but yeah, I'm really thrilled to just be able to take the time and kind of tell a little bit of my story, a little bit of my journey, kind of getting involved, kind of more strongly with makeup. And as I said the other day, like, we leave work with pages of instructions, right? Because of the global panini, because of, there being so many different actors to be worked on, there's almost a sense that, hey guys, help us out. But, it's also a situation where it's not necessarily that easy for everyone, especially men or people who don't tend to have like a makeup focus. It's not easy for everybody to kind of get into it like that. And wow, they really do seal these products up like like it's Fort Knox. I think I'm gonna need a tool to get into this particular little box. Forgive the noise of urban decay outside. And look, I do have lights on, but why? I guess because the background is so bright. Maybe that's why I end up looking so dark. I could actually reach under the desk of magic and get a what you call a bounce to just reflect light back up into my face. That does actually seem to help a bit. It's very low tech. If you want to know more about my camera setup, you know, I can get into that for you, but I'm just trying to use my favorite little copper tool. I don't know what this is for or what it does. Is it a nail? Is it some sort of nail implement? I don't know, but it's very handy for getting pesky packages open that don't want to give up their secrets. Got that pried a little bit. Ah, ooh, look at this. That's pretty groovy. That's much more saturated than I would have guessed for a product that is, you almost feel like this is aimed at children, but I suppose it is not. You know, it is adults, and this is definitely giving adult. It's almost, especially since the purple and the pink and the red are so shimmery, this seems like less of a candidate for my 1980s work than the other I Heart Revolution palette that at least had plums and purples that were matte in addition to shimmers. But I'm excited to get this on the eye. It only has a couple of transition shades, and I think we'll rock with the pink. Let's get into a base shadow brush. Wow, look, we picked the right brush and the right shape brush, and this is a Real Techniques, right? They're very affordable. You can get them at Target, you know, just to get into your makeup practice and make, you know, just make your makeup look like you know a little bit what you're doing. The brushes are from Target. These kind of resin, what do you call this? Faux tortoise and gold earrings are also from Target, but the top, as I've mentioned, is a meshki top thrifted from, of course, Goodwill. We have some braceletage from Target, yes. So this luscious little tiny palette is oh so handy for travel. We take our brush and we kiss it into that pink shade, get some of that delicious powder on the brush, tap it off to be influencer-like, and then, hopefully you can see me, we can tap it along the, not the crease, but it's almost like you want to have an awareness of where your brow bone is and stroke that color under that brow bone. Now, I had used the e.l.f. Poreless, no, e.l.f. It's one of these putty primers. e.l.f. Oh, it's the matte putty primer. Now, is that a face primer? Is it a lid primer? I did see Daisy Cash using, I guess, the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Some e.l.f. primer in her eyelid area yesterday, and I thought, you know what? My quest continues. I've never found quite the right thing. A lot of the products are really liquidy or have more gummy texture. What is going on outside? Are people stealing cars, or are they just trying to ruin my audio? And there seems to be some sort of car chase. It's just never a dull moment. But look at this color, right? I was concerned for a moment that the color wasn't really reading on my kind of caramelly yellow orange skin tone, but I am wrong, right? It's got this really spiffy kind of Nicki Minaj pink print type color going. And, you know, when I sort of back the mirror away, just to inspect how we have stamped this color on, that we're lifting it out toward the end of what we may do to extend our brow, just so that the brow shape doesn't make us have makeup shaped like this. If we extend the brow, then we can arch it out ever so slightly so that we're going toward the temple and not, you know, looking like Mojo Jojo or some other Cartoon Network style villain with arched eyes and brows and, you know, all those like sort of visual tricks that are used to make people look like villains. But just getting that along the lash line. If this is our base or transition shade, it certainly is looking luscious. And I'm not unhappy with that. Even just this on its own, it's giving Freddie My Love, it's giving Thania Gonzalez, it's giving, you know, some of our other Kayla Dawn Cook, our other pink lovers, right? Those girls seem to love, you know, some neutral palettes, but they certainly love pink in their day-to-day decor and personal styling. And again, arching that out toward what the extended tip of our brow might look like. You know, and we're not being cheap with it. Look, we have a whole brand new palette. Why do we have to be shy about laying down that color, right? Just making sure it gets right down into that crease, right? For us, hooded eye, deep set eye, whatever you want to call it, we need to be able to look straight ahead and see that our color is evenly applied, right? Patting motions, not so much making small circles, right? Patting motions, making sure the color is visible above that crease, lifting toward the outer part of the eye, et voila, right? Bouncing that light back up into our face so you see what we're working with. From here, do we use the same brush? Do we run a little bit of this pink, just squeezing the tip of our brush just under the eye? We did also put primer under there, just under the outer third to half of the eye, right? Let's risk it all and pick another brush, right? Something a little bit smaller. This is a smudge brush. Our friends at Real Techniques medium shadow brush. That's a big brush. I don't know. Seems a little too big. Here's an angled shadow brush. Should we rock with angled shadow? What's nice is that when the brushes have a color identity, you can kind of scan and see where they are. Here is a shading brush. Interesting choice of title. So if we take this, you know we're gonna have to get into that shimmer purple at some point, but that purple is a little bit too dark for our inner third of the eye, right? For the inner third, rocking over pink, we might have to go with either this gray shade or this gold, but maybe we can try this purple to build our outer crease. It's a little unorthodox since it is not only purple, but it's shimmer. Not quite glitter, but when I'm rushing and just testing products in the morning, what I do is I look forward. The Cat in the Hat is with us in theory, although I seem to recall there was some sort of story about Dr. Seuss being maybe not, there was some story that made me sort of question his, you know, sort of halo and celebrity. I have to look it up and see what it is. Do you know what it is? But just using this little tiny cat's paw, right? It's not reading so super shimmery on the skin, but we know from the palette it is shimmery, right? Wanting it to arc out, extend toward what we might do with our extended brow, but we want to stamp it over that pink so that the pink still surrounds and ensconces that purple. That looks very pretty, actually, right? It's got the right amount of purple and hue, and it's flattering on our skin tone, but we're trying to make sure we're building that outer crease, right? Kind of not taking the wide side, but the thin side, just so that we're not making a big old wide purple shape, but a purple shape that's an outer V that lifts toward the end of that brow, right? Some people put the tape so that the border will be crisp. We haven't elected to do that. Maybe we'll get there in our makeup practice, but looking at the other side, right? The goal is to have that lifted shape. You can be you can take a moment to kind of pat it in and look at it. It's not going to just go all the way on first blush. And you can lower your mirror so you're getting it in the crease, so you're not going to have a little bare patch when you look down at your Barada. Of course, my phone is playing me, but it's not going to stop us. From here, we just need to get an inner corner. This is EcoTools Classic Concealer. No. Here is EcoTools Correcting Concealer. No. We need to lay down that inner corner shimmer, and we might have to go of desperation for our live stream medium shadow brush. It's big, it's thick, it's giant, but what are we doing here? Are we doing this butter color? Or are we doing gold? Let's go butter. I tend to like to work the light colors first to see if they read. So on the brush, looking into our mirror and patting that in an arc over the inner third of the eye. As a foil over those pinks and purples, luscious. Now, from here, should we take some kind of angled brush, right? This one says angled shadow brush, but it's quite thick. Is this the best we can do? What we maybe want to do is lay in some kind of brown liner and then powder it essentially with, this is the Ultimate Intense Stay Auto Liner in the color Lasting Brown from LA Girl. Hopefully this will not embarrass us, and it'll lay down in a way that flatters our eye and our eye shape. Wow, look at that. Bang. Right? We could thicken that guy up and thicken our whole lash line. We've been trying to stay away from lashes and, mascara and all that unless we're at work, just from our lash loss. An able job over powder and shimmer shadow, right? We could use a brush and smudge it, but I don't think so. Maybe what we do is we use our angled shadow brush to just get this brown, right? Which could also be a transition color in this palette, just to get this brown set. And then we can get about the business of our other, right? Just trying to use an angle of this brush to not thicken up the liner too much, but make sure it's set so that it can stay there all day as we get over to the college town of Westwood to get our COVID test. What's nice is it's open until 7, so I'm, trying to do an able job of getting through my labors for you, my tiny but growing YouTube audience, right? So, new palette. We've kind of identified a shadow technique that we very much like on our eyes. We've stroked a bit of the shimmer on our lower lash line, a bit of the purple on the lower lash line. Our liner is lifted and complements our eye color and our eye shape. Maybe we've gotten into a bit of trouble over here. Our liner, we'll just use the tip of our beauty sponge to clean that up. We still don't want to dirty up our Pride sponge. I don't know, people get really aggro in the comments, and it's really interesting to see like how much people have to say about, other adults living their lives, right? We have a powder foundation on, and where else do we need to go with this? Maybe a lip and then a blush. Do we need to contour? We did get hold of this really interesting Uoma double take product, which is a Sculpt and Strobe stick, right? If we have a little powder foundation on, maybe we don't need to pile on more of it, but look at that gold. Look at that brown, right? Maybe we can just be like super conservative, reuse. Oh, I don't even know if I can get to my brush cleaner. Right? And if from here we take our brush and kind of take a bit of this brown on the brush, we look in our mirror, minding our white shirt from Meshki, right? Where is our... That's good and dark. And taking a little bit more of that, right? Getting it north of that brow, right? Stroking it along the hairline. Trying to emphasize certain portions of our bone structure, right? It blends really nicely. Is it too warm? I can't really say, right? What I like about it is that it's visible and it's not doing too much, right? It's staying where I laid it down. You can pat it in and lift it, right? Lift it at the right angle. It's giving bronzer, right? Other side, you don't want to bring it too far in on the face, but you want to make sure it's lifting, right? This brush, is it too big? Is it too small? I certainly see people using much bigger brushes to lay in their cream products, right? And then the jawline. We've been eating good, as always. We're not really interested in getting this brown shade on our cute meshki top, but we are interested in erasing this double chin. Any suggestion of double chin needs to be X'd out, because then in photographs you'll look more snatched, right? Dragging it down the neck so the color doesn't just appear out of the blue on your face, right? Holding the tip of the brush, using a gentle hand to blend and not punish our skin, to emphasize that tiny little chin. Lower part of our face is quite weak and small, right? But just wanting to do a little bit of emphasis and a little bit of lift and a bit of blend that then hopefully enhances our facial structure, right? You can drag it down according to the muscles in your face and just diffuse it out and around, getting it into a place where these colors make sense on our face, on our forehead. You don't want to bring it in further than the arch of your brow. You just want it to be some shadow that make the sides of your forehead and the very tippy top of your forehead recede, right? So that makes the forehead, and then using the smallest amount, right? Going from just tip, little hairs, seeing where our brow is, and then wanting to draw the very thinnest converging line, right? Thinnest converging line with those very tip hairs, the tip top hairs, right? So that you end up with two parallel or converging lines, right? You can put a little on the underside of your nose, kind of branching out from the nostrils, so that visually that perhaps shortens the nose, and that you can stroke that out up into the brow, right? When do you do your brows, right? Since you have to do all this contouring and dragging into the brow, does it make sense to do your brows and then do foundation and other business? I get the logic of doing your shadow before you do complexion products, right? From a fallout standpoint, right? I get that, right? Just looking at our face, seeing any points where we can refine the contour, right? Refine the contour where the most shadowy part of the shadow should be. And then we can also cheat with our beauty blender to bounce out any areas where it's either too wide or too low, and, you know, kind of allow ourselves to find a place where the contour can be magical but not go too far, right? Looking at our jaw again, that double chin, all that delicious, what do you call it, key lime pie that we love. Is this color too warm for contour? Now it's supposed to be it's Bronze Venus. Is that what the shade is called? Sculpt and Strobe. So Sculpt, it's a melt-on contact pigment stick with exceptional yet undetectable coverage. I can detect it. And it's called Bronze Venus. Is it too deep for our skin tone? But, you know, I have to confess, I like a more of a gray for contour. And this seems much warmer, right? Much warmer. But if we go over it with a little bit of powder foundation, right? Just deepening up above that brow arch, looking at our nose contour, right? I don't know that this other shade that's kind of golden, is this something that we can use? Is it a highlight or is it an actual kind of shimmery highlighter? Is it a highlight or a highlighter? Question mark, right? So from here, right, we have a couple of shades of the Eye Bright from Makeup Revolution London. Is Makeup Revolution London the same as I Heart Revolution? Am I just confused? I think Revolution Beauty, just reading the back, and Makeup Revolution perhaps are different. Are they different companies? Because the logo or the font of the logo seems similar. Am I crazy? If anyone knows, please let me know. But in any case, we had started working with this earlier today. It's one of those annoying, you know, click, twist, and, you know, has this kind of like applicator, which I think can get a little bit unsanitary. But just getting that into our dish, it has an interesting consistency that's quite liquidy. I listened to Daisy Cash talking about how she liked this concealer because it's quite thick, and I don't find it to be thick at all. And I've been shaking it and doing all this extra carrying on. But let's see if we can get it in our dish and see if it'll do anything to help us highlight along the nose and places like that, and if it will, you know, do all the things. We use this very thin, fine liner brush, right? We've already done our liner, so we don't have to mess with that again. But I am trying to work with smaller and smaller brushes just to be a little bit kind of precise about where I put product and let it sit, right? We're supposed to put it exactly where the shadow is, right? And I watched a certain TikToker kind of lay her highlighting concealer down lower than her eye, and her point was like, yeah, why would you put a ton of it right under your eye if the point is that you need it to dry down, and you know, you don't want a ton of product up high so it can crease, right? You want it to sit and kind of melt in. They say put a little under the lip in an upward motion, under the lip, going up. You know, just trying to get the product on the forehead, between the brows, letting it dry down, and then highlight that chin because our chin is so weak. We like to paint this in between the two contour lines, right? So that hopefully it will help our chin seem bulkier and that it will seem like it jumps forward. So using this to finesse underneath our cheekbone contour and above our jaw contour, right? Giving us little highlight panels just under that jaw, right? It almost seems like either a silicone sponge or a finger could help pat this in without absorbing precious product. Makeup is not cheap. We don't want to waste it, and we want to be as precise about placement and, you know, being intentional, right? We want to erase the nostrils. We want to add an enhanced structure to our nose, right? People are like, draw a line across the nose. I don't know. When I've had my makeup done by professionals, they don't draw that line across the nose. I try it sometimes. I mostly end up bouncing it out with a beauty sponge. So just looking for symmetry, a lifted mouth. Should we use a remnant to sharpen up under our eyeliner? Other side, just using all our product. Sharpen up under the eyeliner. Right? And using a small brush for a change, right? Smaller and smaller, just seeing what kind of precision. Does this make it better? Does this make it worse? You know, when I see people, you know, doing their makeup with big old brushes and they are using a light hand, right? I think we look at the hand and the brush going and thinking that they're pushing hard and thinking that they are doing more on the skin than they are. And then when we try it, newbie makeup person, it looks crazy and muddy. And, you know, another thing that our eye as, you know, not influencer, you know, I didn't really appreciate how much time was passing and how much time was, you know, sort of allowing product to dry. So, you know, especially when I'm trying to leave the house in the morning and go, you know, play a cop or something on television, I'm not necessarily, you know, allowing extra time for product dry down, right? What I have been able to do is, you know, go in with contour, highlighting, concealer on a good day, right? And then get on, you know, this 4-in-1 corrector product from, is it Maybelline? Where has it gone? It's not the 4-in-1 Perfector. It's the 4-in-1, oh, where has it gone? I do love that product. So in any case, I put that on and then I spray it with setting spray. And then when I'm in the car, maybe before I get out of the car to do my COVID check-in, maybe after, right? Just wanting to get the very sharpest, thinnest pat of this nose center highlight, right? I don't want to muddy it up. Maybe I'll use my pinky finger just to tap it in, right? Stroke away any extra product, just so that we're getting a crisp center line on that nose. We have, you know, sort of guided highlighter up the sides of the nose, but left two very strong lines of contour on the nose. We seem to never be able to get our lines converging like that cool drag. One thing I'm always aware of when I see people walking around with very thick orangey lines of nose contour, and you know, even on TikTok, like people really look at that and they see the evidence of what they've done and it looks so obvious that I'm concerned. Like I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is that really what you want it to look like? So I have this e.l.f. Camo powder foundation in a lighter color. I have it in a darker color because I tan in the sun and I think I'm tanner rather than not tan. But looking at this makeup and looking at this nose contour, I'm thinking that a light dusting of this over my makeup might be the move, right? Some people say beauty sponge. I don't know about that. I don't know. I kind of like to use like a, it does come with its own applicator. Should I get into that for you, the people? It's pristine. It's never been used, but I'm just looking at this nose contour and wanting to do the very barest kind of pat out of that, taking out any creasing under the eye, right? But just want our nose to look kind of like one color. And I'm feeling like that shade is like a little bit dark for me, but You know, is that the perfect marriage between our contour shade and our highlighting shade, and just sort of like letting it live as underpainting, right? I put some of this product on before, and I put some of this product on after I've gone in with contour and highlight. But that's the thing, you just don't want it to look so extreme and obvious. You do want it to look lifted and pretty and, you know, giving enhanced structure, right? Contour is still peeping through very strongly. We could put another layer over that. Contour is still peeping through rather strongly. And it's just creating a bit of volume here on the cheek that I'm not really appreciating, right? I have to work on how very slender my contour could be, right? Hope you're able to see me. But this is it. This is my makeup practice. I think our eyeshadow is looking kind of bomb, right? Maybe we need to go in with just putting our sponge back and checking our makeup in different angles of light, right? It helps to have different light, different mirrors, different things that can help you see, because I think one issue is when people do their makeup and even their clothes, right? Definitely seen people that look like, oh, did you look in the mirror? And I'm not saying that to be insulting. Sometimes it's a fit question. Maybe you've gained or lost weight. Sometimes it's wow, this silk jacket looked fine until I'm in bright daylight, and now it's obvious that it has not been ironed, right? A lip liner. We've been rocking with this very bright Rimmel color, but maybe we want to get a little bit calm, right? This is a mauve in the same, it looks similar packaging, but this is L'Oreal and this one is Rimmel. So we're gonna put back the hot pink and rock with, although I think somewhere we might have, I don't know where I put it. We might have a Charlotte Tilbury lip liner somewhere. Where could it be? Oh well, let's get this done because we have to get outside and get our COVID test. So looking in our mirror, looking at this cute purple, right? Trying to get all the light on our face for you. Not even overlining. Just getting this liner on our lips. It's very close, but a little bit more rosy than our actual lip color, right? In the mask times, I do like to fill in my lips completely when I'm at work, and sometimes that'll be the only lip color I rock. Just a liner that has a rosy hue. I do like drawing a few lines converging into the O of the mouth, right? Maybe rubbing a little bit more in because this will be a good base. If you eat a hamburger or some Indian food at work, then your lips won't be completely gone and you'll always look, with a little bit of makeup is always gonna look better than, you know, other people who don't wear makeup at all. No shade, it's just a reality. We did pick up this PYT Friends with Benefits lip duo, but I kind of feel like something a little bit sheer today. We did try the Milani Fruit Fetish lip oil in this kind of red cherry lime shade, and that's all right. But we also have the Fruit Fetish Strawberry Lemonade, and we also have this is Juice Gloss in Pomegranate Clout. What an interesting title. Let's try the Fruit Fetish Strawberry Lemonade and hope that it doesn't do us wrong. I think it has a doe foot. Watch. Oh no, it doesn't have a doe foot. Oh, fooled. One of these has a doe foot. Anyway, it has a little squeezy tube. So squeeze, just get it to just erupt a little bit right there, and then pat it in the center of our lips. It smells really good, and it's a little bit pinker, a little bit paler than our liner, right? I like a gloss very much in the center of the lip, maybe not even too high. You want it to look glistening and healthy without looking like disco nights. I think that's conservative and very pretty. Now, from here, let's add in a blush color that I don't even know if we need to bronze, right? Because we did do our contouring. We've been messing with this L'Oreal Infallible Paints blush palette. We have the City Color Glow Pro with all these shades, right? City Color is a little bit more of an affordable brand. We have this Anastasia Cocktail Party palette, which I think, maybe we'll get into this, right? It has Vegas, Scorching, and Babe in it, right? I think we tried Babe the other day. Maybe this is a moment for Scorching, and it does have its own little mirror, which is cool, right? Another day for you Glow Pro from City Color and our Infallible palette. But you know, we try to, it's just like clothing. You try to get in your closet and give all of your items some exercise, right? You don't want any of your items to feel neglected. You know, the heartbreaking part is when you figure out that things have gotten, you know, stained or they've got holes in them and you really don't know if it's going to be worth it to, just wanting to make sure this brush is clean. Did I wash it? I can't remember. But you can take your little cleaner pad and flip it over and just give it a good rubbing to make sure there's nothing that's going to interrupt the Anastasia of Beverly Hills magic, right? We're trying to get right with our makeup and our higher power here on Sunday. So many cool things are going to be happening. There's so much risk alive in the world. Taking our angled, fluffy little brush and then stroking it lightly in that color, getting it on our brush, tapping it because that's what the influencers do, and looking into our palette and just gently tapping, just even from the side of our brush, right? On the high points of that cheek. Other side. High point of that cheek, wanting it to kiss into that contour, you know, and kind of have a mottled effect that hopefully looks more natural as a powder brush, as a powder blush than just, you know, smearing and drawing circles, right? You want color that looks like a pattern that could be from, you know, capillaries under your skin, right? A little bit stroked just under where you contoured the forehead. Maybe small circles, again, so that you have a gradient effect. Tapping it just so that you start to see that color without giving away that it's completely just makeup, right? Leaning in, looking into your other mirror. That inner corner is looking hella bright. But maybe that's what we want. Is that appropriate for the 80s? When we think about Madonna, does she have shimmer? Does she have a bright inner corner? I'm not sure. But this gloss feels good. It smells good. And then it's giving us the pleasure of blush, right? The pleasure of blush that balances out. You want color that doesn't overwhelm this eye, but color that balances out and makes it look like you've done a full look, that you've customized your face. You don't look like you just got out of bed, right? From here, should we stroke something into our brows? You know, just to give it a little bit of lift, a little bit of oomph. This is that Revolution, Makeup Revolution London. Is it the same as Revolution Beauty? Hold on. Fact check. Yes, Revolution Beauty. It is the same. But what's the difference between I Heart Revolution and Revolution Makeup Revolution London? Where does the London part come in? But just dipping it into our ever-present small dish of fresh water, right? I made the mistake of getting setting spray on a brush and trying to make a liquid liner. Woo! Regret. If you saw that short I made, you saw me like eyes tearing, you know, trying to fight fight the feeling for the camera, but it was really quite unpleasant. There's alcohol in setting spray. And you know, a lot of people are like, go between your steps of makeup with setting spray. And I think that's cool if you're, you know, out for a long hot day in a business suit. But if you're just chilling at home, if you're gonna go biking or go for brunch, do you need to do all that? You want your makeup on, but you also don't want to necessarily dump a ton of product and you know, you want to do enough to know, but you don't want to waste it. I feel I grew up going to girls' school where they were like, why would you wear all this makeup if you're just going to sit in school staring at a nun? And I took that point very seriously. Like, yeah, just chamber it, hold it back until you need it. But when you need it, right? I'm not going to figure out my purple eyeshadow on Tuesday morning when I'm headed to work. I'm going to at least figure out what my purple options are, what makes it look more flattering. If I had to lose the shimmer, would this still be a pretty color on my skin? I think so, right? I think the 80s were more about a highlight arch, right? That they had, you know, white shimmery shades there, but now we understand a bit more about eye shape, and we're trying to light up the inner corner of that hooded eye so that, you know, in a way it sounds like a criticism to have a hooded eye, right? I'm just using my beauty sponge to clean off this applicator. If you want the product on the applicator, here's one of my eyebrows stuck in it, and it just looks kind of nasty. And then you seal it up when it's wet inside the package. And I understand if you're on the go, but something about this product is dissatisfactory to me. It's not the tidiest product. It's not the worst product. It's not the best product, but I do find it gets on the face and it doesn't give me the stiffness that the e.l.f. soap brow does. I've never tried the Anastasia brow freeze, but I'm curious to try it. But again, this gives you a little something. It lets your brows be stylized. You might be messing up your foundation and other product near the brows, but I just don't see putting brows on as a first step. I do see people stop their makeup tutorials and do it, but for me, brows feel like a finishing step, kind of like a mascara. Not putting on mascara or lashes, just letting my lashes live. Should I wash this brush or just leave? Maybe I'll leave the brush on top of this product, right? You do get it wet when you use it. Maybe I'll leave it cracked open a little bit. I just am concerned that it's just sitting there wet inside the case, and then there's product and skin cells. I don't know. Maybe I think about these things too much, but just using our beauty sponge to tap off any extra liquid. Looking at ourselves in the mirror and in the viewfinder, right? I hope that you're able to see me. Should I have closed the blinds so that you could see me better? But I'm not dissatisfied with this earring. I'm not dissatisfied with this lip. It feels good. It looks quite striking on top of this meshki mock turtleneck. When I'm cycling in the bright sunshine, I might turn a head or two, and that's exactly what we want. And even if we sweat a bit of this off during our exercise, by the time we get to brunch and our cheeks are flushed and we have married these colors together with our own skin oils and perspiration, I think that we'll be in a very stylish and pretty place that isn't quite the same place as where we started, right? If I just had this purple across my eyelids, I think it would look purple and it would look pretty, but this inner corner shimmer just brings light and can we even, call it a little bit, you want to look like you've fully realized your beauty, right? You want to look like, not like you're excusing yourself. You're not changing your hair color. You're not changing your face shape. No, you respect what your, ancestors have given you. But you're using your nutrition, your rest, your makeup and hair game, all of that to enhance your blessings, right? You want to be you, fully loaded, you fully expressed and enhanced, right? Whether that's using a contour product, it does have a highlighter on the other end. Should we mess with that with a little brushy brush? We have this strange little, I don't even know if it'll lay down over this, but it's a flower detail brush. We stroke that on the tip, right? I feel like, will this, maybe if I hold the bristles together, just make sure we're coating it. Will this lay down over other product? That's the question, right? A gold highlight, a gold shimmer, other side. I can see it a little bit, right? We get it down the nose bridge and on the tip of the nose. It's a little bit more subtle, right? Above the brow arch. That's not bad. A little on the chin, a little on the cupid's bow. We're looking for that extra pop of sophistication. It's not going to be appropriate for the 70s or 80s. We're not wanting to lift product, right? We're wanting to tap it on as an extra layer of interest so that when we turn our head, it's even more exciting, right? When someone sees you from across a room, when you're in a business meeting, when you're on a Zoom call, you want to look even more enchanting than you do regular, right? That this is you, but sort of amped up. You with a little bit extra, gas, as it were, right? You bringing those cheekbones further out, bringing the nose bridge further out. I have a friend who got surgery overseas to enhance her nose bridge, right? And it's such a subtle change, but she felt like it was worth it, right? And we all have our own personal sense of what matters to us and what speaks to luxury and what is a gift that we can give to ourselves, and that those were powerful choices for her. I can support her in that. Other friends are getting Botox at 25 years old and other kind of procedures, injectables and different things where I'm kind of like, don't you need to, like, again, keep that in the chamber, wait until things go wrong when you get older, and then you can fix it. But people are using different things, thread lifts, etc., to change the shape of their brow, lift the brow, right? That does look exciting, but I don't hate my regular brows, right? Tight ponytail, pieces of tape that they use to stretch the face back. It's all very interesting, but you can't beat the positive impact of a good diet and good sleep, and feeling intentional and purposeful about your life, feeling intentional and purposeful about Dr. Seuss and Cat in the Hat, and looking into whatever the issue was with Cat in the Hat author Dr. Seuss earlier this year. I'll find out. I'll put it on my community page. A couple of products I did not try: Dr. Seuss's lip gloss and this Revlon Rose Glow face gloss. So next time we'll get into green eggs and ham and this lip gloss, I promise. But now I'm going to go off and adventure, and I will see you on the next episode of this troubled streaming that I enjoy here on YouTube. The unclear whether it's actually focusing on my face, but we're going to keep going and doing more. As we refine our makeup practice and, kind of find a place of confidence that we can plan for and get into our makeup kit in a way that, enhances us for the day. Maybe get our lighting set up right. If we block out more light from behind us, maybe we see more of our face, right? All of these elements work together to give us a sense of being camera ready. And when you're on set, you see how much people do to control lighting and, you know, bounce and all of those things that can help, you know, hair light, all these things that kind of bring out dimension in the face. We might need to order a light bulb for our kind of fancy photography lights. And if we order it from Amazon, we can pick it up at Whole Foods. Just many tasks to do, but thank you for joining me today. If you have questions and feedback, if you have an opinion about the Dr. Seuss and the Makeup Revolution London products, if there's something that I'm not getting right about the texture of this eye bright, because I've heard good things about these products, both for contouring and possibly being a dupe for Charlotte Tilbury. I might have to go online or in store to get the pink kind of blush highlighter and see what's what there. You know, we're just starting. Oh, here it is, the Charlotte Tilbury liner that I didn't think I could find. But, you know, getting into this PYT Beauty, getting into the Jason Wu, we're going to do a look with that either later today or tomorrow. You know, task list willing. But, you know, I encourage you to enjoy your Sunday and your makeup practice and try new things and see what they do for you and your particular look. And, you know, just keep up with your eating and exercising and, you know, journaling and self-care and all the things that make you enjoy a good quality of life here on a Sunday with the sun shining and the trees waving in the breeze. And I will see you next time on the next episode of Camera Ready here on the House of Tanya channel. Thank you for joining me.